On. Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Otumba Adams Show. My name remains Adams Lofimilajide, and you are welcome specially. All right, so today is Saturday, and we are live. And if you're there with us, I would like to ask you, how has been your weekend? How is the second? No, I think this actually is the first Saturday in the month or the year 2022. And it's a pleasure having you guys here. So, how's life generally? Have you guys started work or you're still waiting till next week? I could see some meme videos around the week where people were showing someone being dragged. And then it was like office calling some people because they didn't want to end the holiday. But then money has to be made and we are back to work. All right. So, if you're there, you're watching me live, you'd like to introduce yourself, just put your name and your location in the comment section, and I would welcome you, especially. All right. So, on this episode, we're looking at 10 money principles you should abide by. 10 money principles that you should abide by. Now, we know that we've started off on a good note this year, and probably a lot of us would probably have resolution. Some of us would say that would like to save more money, and if we are not careful, all the money that we feel that we are saving may probably end up in the drain at the end of the day if we do not do certain things properly. All right. So this episode is here to look at 10 different points that would help you to be financially stable, as it were. All right. So moving on to number one, we have spend lesser than you earn. For this year, this is one thing I'm going to tell you. Whatever it is that you're earning, please try as much as possible not to go above and beyond. Spend within your means. All right. Don't try to live large, right? Don't try to buy things that are not necessary. Spend within your means. Know the things that are necessary at this point in time, and the things that are wants. There's a difference between a need and a want. Know the things that are needs in your life that are very crucial, that need your attention, and then focus on those things and make sure that you do not go beyond your budget. All right, because once you start going beyond your budget, once you start spending much more than necessary, you would start accruing debts, and you do not want to start that in this new year. So spend within your means. Don't do much more than you can. It is very, very important. All right. Number two on the list is, if you don't have the money available, do not buy it. There's something about people and taking credit these days. It's it's sad, really, especially here in Nigeria, whereby people would be in need of money, or probably they just want to buy something and they quickly go and get a loan for it. And a lot of these loan apps in Nigeria these days actually embarrass majority of the people that actually use their services. I have had series of messages where people come around and then say that this person has borrowed this amount of money from us, this person is a fraudster, this person has refused to pay their money. It is really, really embarrassing, and we should try as much as possible not to go down that path this year. All right. So if you feel that you don't have the money for it, please do not buy it. All right. If it is something that you can let go of, especially if it is not life threatening, all right, and you feel you can actually let go of it, then please, by all means, don't do it. I am begging, really, don't do it, because by the time you end up doing that, all right, you would be in debt at the end of the day. Okay. But if you can conveniently buy it, if you have the cash for it, then do so, because it is probably part of the things that you need. But if it is not something that you need, all right, don't. And do not borrow, do not take up loans. They only end up hurting you on the long run. All right. So that's number two on the list. Moving on to number three, we have, don't spend to impress others. Do not spend to impress others. Now, this particular point, I'm going to say this here, right? Don't listen to the financial advice of people who have not begun to earn themselves, people who are not working, because they one thing I've actually realized about those especially for students or people that are hoping to get jobs on the long run is that they would paint a picture of a life that they expect you to live, and they'll start hyping you. They're like, you'll be bossed now. Like you should be able to afford this, you should be able to afford that. And if you listen to them, if you listen to social media, if you listen to a lot of people that are not financially sound, then you would have yourself to blame on the long run. And you really do not want that. Trust me, you really do not want that. So don't spend to impress anybody in this world, right? Because at the end of the day, you'll be the one to bear the burden of whatever it is that you have spent and you cannot, or probably like you borrowed and you cannot pay back. So don't spend to impress anybody, right? Someone, I think during the course of this week, someone hit me up and then was like, "Hey, I don't like the type of phone you're using. Why not try to upgrade?" And I was like, "Hello, this phone is not complaining. I am not complaining. The phone is serving my need. You do not have to tell me that, like, hey, upgrade to an iPhone just because you feel that, like, that is my current standard. If you do not know what my plans are for the future, right, then please do not advise me to do something that, like, is not within what I have already planned out. Because if I were to listen to everybody, then I would not be able to save for the future. I would not be able to plan for the future. And when other people are celebrating their wins, I'll be like, well, I actually just got this new phone and I have nothing else to show for it. So don't spend to impress anybody at all. This 2022 and beyond, do not spend to impress anybody, especially for those people, those of you guys that, like, when it comes to parties in Nigeria and then, like, you just want to show off, it's not worth it. You can actually use that same money to do something better for your life. All right. So that's number 3 on the list. Moving on to number 4, I have pay your debts in full monthly. Now, every one of us at some point or the other will probably be in debt. And the best way we can actually get out of debt is for us to draw out a plan, right? And then tell yourself that, like, okay, within this period of time, I would be able to pay off this debt. And when you have set the amount that you probably be paying monthly, please make sure that you adhere to it. All right. Make sure you adhere to it, because when you are in debt, percentage might actually be added to it, and before you know it, like, you would have much more to pay than what you actually set out to pay originally. But when you are consistent and you make sure that, like, you actually spend a whole like you are committed rather to spending or to paying back the debt that you owe, then you would realize that, like, before long you are out of debt, you are debt free, and you'll be able to move further in life that way. All right, so that's number 4 on the list. Number 5 is out of sight is out of mind. Now, when I say this, you guys will probably be like, what is this guy talking about? Is he talking about when you no longer see someone that you used to talk to or something of that nature? No, that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say here is this, right? That whenever you have a certain amount of money in your account, the more you see it, the more you would want to spend it. However, if you are able to take away that money and then put it into a savings account that you most likely will not be able to have access to, or you put it into an investment plan, right, for the future, then you would not be able to spend the money unwisely, because you would realize that, like, hey, I've already put this money into this thing. There's nothing I can do about it right now. I just need to forget about it because it is not in my account right now. All right. So that would actually shapen you to spend better and be able to save up for rainy days. You'll be able to save up for the future. You'll be able to invest your money in opportunities that might come around and can actually help you to retire early in life. All right. So that's number 5 on the list. Number 6 is avoid investments that sound too good to be true. You would always come across investments that people would tell you that, like, hey, come put your money into, come participate in this. I can assure you of 30% monthly. I can assure you of this. I can assure you of that. I can guarantee you a lot of things. But I am going to tell you this. Money does not grow that way. All right. All these Ponzi schemes that would always come around, and then they will tell you that, like, hey, put your money into this. You know what? don't worry about it. You're going to make a huge sum of money. You're going to make double the amount that you've already invested into it. And if you make that mistake of putting your money into it, my brother, my sister, you are on a long thing. Meaning you most likely would lose all your money, and you would have yourself to blame for it. So please try as much as possible this year not to invest your money into any investment plan that sounds too good to be true. If you have to invest into anything, please make sure that you do your due diligence. All right, do your research, and then make sure that like that investment plan is worth it. People are actually making money off it, and they are not promising you a bogus interest rate. All right, make sure that like they're not promising you anything out of the blues. Okay, moving on to number 7. Number 7, we have time works in your favor. Now, when it comes to investments, you need to realize one thing: your money would not grow overnight. I know that like a lot of us, we are trying to like put our money into investment schemes. We are trying to like HODL, like hold the money for the long run. But for some people, they'll be like, well, I've already held this money for like 3 months. Why isn't this money yielding, or why is it coming down? Do not look at it in that um, with that eye, right? Now, if you're going to invest, make sure that like you have a long-term goal for such investment. If it's going to be for 5 years, for 10 years, even for 15 to 20 years, you know that like, okay, you're playing the long-term goal such that when you retire, it is going to be easier for you to fall back on something that like you've invested into in the past. And that thing over a period of 10 to 20 years has actually yielded something solid. All right. Time in that essence has worked in your favor. But if you're impatient and then you are like, well, I've put money into this thing. Why is this thing not trying to like grow immediately? Why is it that like my money is coming down? Then you would run at a loss and you would not make any profit off it. So please make sure that to know that like time would always work in your favor, especially when you invest your money in the right places. Okay, so that's number 7. Number 8 is invest money in gaining knowledge. Now, this is one thing I set money aside for every year. I try to like learn new things. I try to like pay for premium classes such that my knowledge is expanded. And from there, with the new knowledge I have, there's every likelihood that like the way I can actually earn money is going to increase. All right. So for you also, take out time to invest into knowledge. All right. It is very, very key. Invest money into knowledge, because that's which you have poured into yourself. You are like a soil, right? You're like the earth. We actually came from the earth, right? You're like the earth. And when you plant something in you, it would always multiply. So pay for knowledge. And from there, it's going to multiply and also help you to get more money on the long run. All right. So that's number 8. Number 9 is work towards owning your own home. All right. One of the things about money that I'm going to tell you is this: as much as you are working hard, it is not befitting on the long run for you to stay in a rented apartment. I'm going to tell you this thing: work towards building your own home. It's not going to happen overnight. You could probably like say that like, okay, between this year and next year, I'm going to buy land. Start off with that. Once you've gotten that done, then maybe the third year you tell yourself, hey, I'm going to do the foundation. You get that done. Then before you know it, like you start building little by little till you're able to like complete and then move into your own home. There's this beauty in it, especially if you're in this part of the world where you can actually own your own home. There's this beauty in it that I own my own home. I don't have to like pay rent anymore. And I am very, very comfortable in my own house. And then number 10 on the list is money does not buy happiness. You really need to realize this fact. All right. We know that like we are all hustling to try to get money, but money itself does not buy happiness. Happiness comes from things that are important in life, like family, like friends, like doing things that like are in line with your purpose that you're here for, right? And anything that is not uh, flashing, as it were, right? Money itself would help you to glide through life easily, but money alone cannot buy you happiness. You need to find your source of joy. You need to find your source of happiness, and money cannot do that for you, no matter the amount of money that you have in this life. And on this note, I have come to the end of today's episode. If you're watching me from Facebook or YouTube, please make sure that you like and subscribe to this channel, and also share with your friends and loved ones. My name remains Adam Solwafemi Olajide, and it is always a pleasure to have you guys around me. So see you guys again next week, and always be the best version God has created you to be. All right, signing out.